Hello gamers, Gas Godfather here. Following the in-depth damage calculation of Jinhsi, we will now do the Changli version. Same as Jinhsi, Changli will be level 90, level 10 talents, and the skill tree will be fully maxed. The weapon will be level 90, and we will also change to the Emerald of Genesis. And the echo substance will be less than average, and every echo will have crit rate, crit damage, and attack percent of these values you can see on the screen right here. In this video, we will answer questions of whether fusion damage 3 cost is better or attack percent 3 cost is better, whether the signature weapon is better than a 5-star standard weapon and for how much. We'll also answer questions of how much better or worse is Changli compared to Jinhsi damage. And there will also be a sequence 1 to sequence 6 and R1 to R5 weapon comparison. So stay until the end to know my final thoughts on all this information I will provide you with. I am also doing a giveaway at 500 subscribers. If you like, subscribe, and join my Discord, you can win a Wooden Waves Battle Pass and a Wooden Waves Monthly Pass. There will be 2 lucky winners. So without further ado, let's get into the video. For those of you that don't know how Changli rotation works, the next video will be about Changli gameplay, rotation guide, the best themes for here, the best weapons for here, and how you can use Changli in a real fight scenario. But for now, I will give you a brief explanation. You use Liberation skill, you get 4 stacks, then you use Forte skill. Then you use here True Sight skill, and you do True Sight basic attack. Then you do that again, True Sight skill into True Sight basic attack, and then you plunge and skip into basic attack 3 and basic attack 4 and do another True Sight basic attack, and then another plunge into basic attack 3, basic attack 4, and another True Sight basic attack, and this way you get another 4 stacks and you use the Forte skill again. So let's begin. Have double fusion damage bonus. Let me tell you already, the results are insane. This is here Forte damage, this is here Liberation damage, this is a True Sight skill damage, the first number, and in the bracket, the True Sight basic attack damage. And the total damage is calculated by the Forte damage one time, True Sight skill damage twice, and True Sight basic attack damage 4 times, with the rotation I explained earlier in the video. And Changli at S0 R1 with this rotation does 12% more damage than a Jinhsi Forte nuke, which is insane for those that have been saying that Changli will be weak and stuff like that. Not true at all. Changli will have comparable damage to Jinhsi. Of course, in a complete rotation things may be different. However, we can say for sure that her damage will be insanely high. Now let's change to attack percent and fusion damage. See the difference. And as you can see here, the increase of the damage is not even 1% if you use attack percent and fusion damage for Changli. Next, let's use double attack percent, which I assume will be a minor difference as well. So double attack percent is only 2% lower than the double fusion. Minor difference, as I predicted. Next, we will see the 44111. 44111 is 5% lower, which is not worth it, I think. Now we will move on to Emerald of Genesis, the 5-star standard sword. We will use double fusion damage bonus. It's also changed to crit damage, since we have a crit rate weapon now. And the standard 5-star sword is 20% less damage than her signature weapon. Jinhsi's signature weapon was 17% more damage. Changli's is 20. Next, we will move on to the sequence comparison of Changli, and we will also compare sequence 6 Jinhsi to sequence 6 Changli. Let's get into it. The first sequence increases her skill and heavy attack by 10%. So her first sequence, as you can see, buffs the forte and skill and the basic attack. However, it's such a minor increase, only 3%. Her second sequence gives 25% crit rate. So, because we have so much crit rate in order to test this sequence from now on, we'll change the focus to crit damage and have this ratio right here. Massive. So this sequence buffs her rotation damage by 21% over S0. This is a bigger increase than the previous one. Now the S3 buffs the liberation damage. As you can see, her liberation damage got an increase of around 25%. Sequence 4 turns her into a support, like Jinhsi ones, and it buffs 20% the attack of all team members, but this includes her own attack. Here we have another increase to 32% more than S0, but not as big of an increase as the previous one. Sequence 5 buffs her forte attack twice, and as you can see, a huge part of her damage is her forte, so this is a big increase over sequence 0 and over the previous sequences as well. 60% more damage. And now the strongest sequence of them all. She ignores 40% of the target's defense, an additional 40%. So this sequence doubles her S0 damage basically. Massive increase. Let's R5 the weapon. So at sequence 6, rank 5, she's at 238% over S0, and it's comparable to Jinhsi 40 nuke damage actually. Only 17% lower than Jinhsi 40 nuke damage. Now let's do a recap on all this information, and I will tell you my conclusions and thoughts about the weapons, the sequences, and the echoes. Starting with the weapons. Her signature weapon is 20% stronger than the 5-star standard sword, so you need to have her signature weapon. And for the echoes, the difference between double fusion, double attack, and fusion damage bonus 3 costs is so small that you can use whatever you like on her. However, you need to use 43311. And lastly, at S0, Changli rotation is stronger by 12% by Jinhsi's single instance of 40 nuke damage, so she will be doing massive damage in this game. Now for the sequences. Unlike Jinhsi sequences, she doesn't get much of an upgrade until sequence 5 and sequence 6, because sequence 1 is 3% increase over S0, sequence 2 18% increase over S1, sequence 4 11% increase over S2, sequence 5 28% increase over sequence 4. You see here we are getting a big value, and sequence 6 42% increase over sequence 5. And then the R5 weapon is 36% increase over the R1 weapon. And at sequence 6, Changli is doing double the damage of sequence 0. And then she gets another 36% increase with an R5 weapon. And it's really good to note here that Jinhsi S6R5 is only with her forte nuke. Jinhsi S6R5 with her forte nuke is only 17% stronger than the rotation of Changli S6R5. So basically, to recap here, Changli does comparable damage to Jinhsi, and you know that Jinhsi is a massive broken DPS in the game, so Changli is expected to be an insane DPS as well. So comment down below and tell me what do you think about the Changli and Jinhsi damage comparisons and calculations. Tell me if you will be pulling a 0 or a 6, if you will be getting the signature weapon, or you will use the 5-star standard sword. Tell me all your plans about Changli down in the comment section below. The next video will be a gameplay guide about Changli with her best rotation and her best teams. If you are excited about the Changli guide and if you want more Wooden Ways videos, like, subscribe and turn on notifications to not miss any of the future content. Thank you guys and see you in the next one.